go for it.
Okay.
It's all good.
Just let me know if there's an issue later. I just gotta mash through some text boxes, then I'll count us down.
All right, yeah, we're good to go.
All right. Let's get started. Pam will start when I cross this line. I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so as you can see, this first section, so the run's split into 5 sections. This first one's called Gentle Beginning because it's kind of an intro to the run. No like tricky obstacles or anything. We're going to get our first balloon here. I'm going to finish by popping 6 balloons if everything goes to plan. You can finish with 5, but it's very, very hard. It's only been done once ever in this game. So I'm going to get 6 to be safe. A lot of the RNG comes from the mini games that you get. There's 10 different mini games that you can be asked to play in this game when you pop a balloon that will never repeat unless you play all 10 in the same run. And so you can imagine like the timings of the mini games can vary drastically. This is a kind of slow mini game to get, but not a run killer. 2 out of the 10 mini games are so slow that it will destroy your run if you see them. That thankfully isn't one of them, but it's one of the slower ones that we're okay with getting in a run. And you'll see we got an S rank, which gives us 40 extra seconds on the clock, plus 3 for high-fiving for some reason. So that'll be added to my in-game time. And so if this timer runs out, it just kills your run. So you definitely don't want that to happen. More pretty simple rowing up to this balloon you see coming up. And we'll see what minigame we get here. And feel free to interrupt me if you have anything to add, like donations or anything. This is actually a very fast game to get. Ideally, I want to finish with about 15 seconds left on that clock on the top right. That's like a decent run through this game. I unfortunately got caught by a bat, so that's going to slow me down a little bit. And the computer's, like, a lot of the RNG actually comes from the behavior of your AI partners, and you can see they kind of ignored the bottom right. So that slowed us down quite a bit. And we only got an A rank, which is only 30 seconds. But since we're getting a whole extra balloon, which is about 43 extra seconds, it's not going to be like too big a problem as long as we don't keep getting A ranks. One of the other ways you can get time is passing a checkpoint like this one here. It's going to give me 10 extra seconds. So we're almost 2 minutes on the clock, so we're doing pretty good. Going to get a third balloon down here. This is also a very fast game. So the AI can actually be pretty frustrating in this game because they can tend to like get stuck in the middle with no idea what to do, like you see Monty doing there. So what I tend to do is step on these buttons as early as I can because it gives them something to do. They seem to like, if you open up the gate for them, they want to rush like going to it. So that tends to be my first move. You can see Shy Guy's kind of lost too. So this can be pretty frustrating if you're looking for your AI partners to cooperate with you. 40 is a good time for that. We finished with 34, so you can see the difference it makes if they kind of get lost. Another RNG aspect in Mario Party, who would have thought? Alright, so those are the 3 balloons we're going to get in this first section. There's going to be a 4th balloon up here that we're going to skip. It's a little bit out of the way. There's better ones to get later. We're going to come out on our first intersection. I'm sitting on the left, so that means that all I can do is push the boat to the right. If I need to go left, I'm counting on my AI on the right to do that, and they're not very dependable in that department. So we're going to take a right turn every time, which is actually a very fast route through the river. We're going to get another bonus there. So this section is called Cheap Cheap Schools. It's going to throw a bunch of cheap cheeps, if you can imagine by the name, at us. It's going to be the same pattern every time, so I know where they're going to be. So I'm going to take a line through the river to try to stay out of their way. If they hit us, it'll kind of stop our momentum, as well as if any of my characters get directly hit by the fish, it's going to like stun them and they won't be able to row for a few seconds, which can cause some problems. Ideally, you don't want to stay in the middle, but they like One of the things that the AI is driven by is getting as many balloons as possible at all costs. So even though I want to stay in the middle to stay out of the way of all those fish, they love to push to the right early because they want that balloon so bad. So this minigame's really fast, but it can also be very frustrating, like the last one with the AI. You're going to see me hovering by this goal. We're trying to get all the penguins into that yellow goal at the bottom. If I leave the AI to their own devices, they're going to chase the penguins right across the screen, and they won't go into this goal, so I'm going to stay down here and kind of corral them as they come by. But that unfortunately leaves me at the mercy of their decision-making, which can be pretty poor at times. You can see Monty kind of got in the way there, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. That's already 4 out of 6. We haven't gotten either of the 2 like incredibly slow mini games, so we're actually doing pretty well on RNG right now. In the mini games, the AI has bitten me a couple of times, but that can be tolerated. All right, small bonk there. This is the third and last way that you can add time to your clock, is collecting these clocks that are floating on the river. Each one's worth 3 seconds. Like the balloons, the AI will try to collect them at all costs. So a lot of times, I don't need that 3 seconds to finish the run. But if I try to avoid it, they're going to try to get it. We're going to get caught in between and probably run into something I don't want to run into. So I just cooperate with them and grab the clock. And this is another really fast minigame. I think this is the fastest one that you can get. So we're doing really good RNG-wise on this run. This minigame has 3 different maps, and this is, I think, the slowest of the 3, but it's only about a 5-second difference between the fastest and the slowest, so it's not a huge deal. I'm gonna wait here, and we're done. So we've already gotten 5 balloons. I said I was getting 6, and we've got like 2/3 of the run left to go, right? So we're going to actually go 2 entire sections without popping a balloon, if all goes to plan. There's going to be a balloon down at the bottom of this section that I'm going to try to avoid. I'm going to squeeze between the balloon and the right wall, hopefully without bonking into the wall. We'll see how that goes. Really dependent on the AI rowing when I want them to. That actually went pretty well. So this third section, you can see by the preview at the top, it's got boost pads in it. That's kind of the gimmick. You might be noticing that each one kind of has like a theme. So this one, we're going to try to hit as many of these boost pads as we can, while not running into anything that slows us down. That starts out pretty simply. As you can see, it's pretty wide open with occasional boosts. We have to kind of weave left and right, but it's not too hard. It'll get more complicated later in the section. There's actually a maze toward the end of the section that's got a bunch of boosts and a bunch of rocks like kind of scattered around in a grid. And that's probably the hardest section of this run to do optimally, is like hitting all those boosts without running into any of the rocks that are in the way. We'll see how it goes. But the first section of this run is going pretty well. We haven't missed any boosts. We haven't run into anything. Knock on wood. But just below this waterfall is where this section that I talked about is going to come into play. You can see how crowded it is. That actually went really well. Alright. That's probably the cleanest I've done that in a long time, so I'm kind of shocked how well that went. Alright, so this fourth section is called Eye of the Needle. It's named that way because it can be a little more narrow than the other sections. There's a lot of downhill rowing that'll increase your speed, a lot of turns in tight places. So it's really about precision. There is another maze toward the end of this one that's got a balloon in it. And if I bonk in that maze, like I'm trying to avoid the balloon, and if I bonk, we're gonna pass it to the right and hopefully stay in front of it. And if I bonk on something in there, the balloon can catch up to me, and that's gonna be like a mini game I don't want to play, which can cost us about a minute depending on which mini game we get. So we're going to try to stay to the right as the balloon goes to the left. Pretty good. Now I'm going to stop rowing because they're going to want to go to the right and they'll bonk on that rock if I give them the chance, because that's where the balloon ultimately ends up. So these music notes will spawn a balloon that I don't want if we get them all, so I've intentionally missed one there so I wouldn't have to worry about it. Did want to bonk, but it's a small time loss. So not the cleanest ending, but we'll take it. Alright, so we're going to come up on the final section of this run. It's called Beyond the Jungle. We're going to get our last balloon here. It's going to be pretty fast pace. Unfortunately, bonking into the walls here in this tunnel. Alright, so I'm going to go to the left and let them get this clock, because otherwise they're going to row me into the road or rock trying to get it. It's going to throw some more fish at us from the second section. Now we're going to grab that balloon. You can see we're a little low on time, but it's not, like, dire by any means. And this is actually a really good game, too. So the RNG was, like, incredible in this run. And I think the rowing's been pretty good. Like, might honestly be a PB, but we'll see. It feels like this run's going really well. So this mini game, we're just trying to catch as many fish as we can. We need to catch 90 to get an S rank, but even an A rank would be fine. The gold ones you can see are worth more, so I'm trying to focus on those when I see them. That's 99, so that'll be fine. So that's the last mini game. We're going to have a sprint to the finish, and then we'll be done. I think my PB, if I remember correctly, is 12:30, so we'll keep an eye on that. So more fish that we're going to try to avoid. You can see we're going pretty fast because we're going downhill. Hopefully my computer's on the right will keep me from bonking. We're going to come up on a waterfall and have our picture taken Splash Mountain style. So everybody get ready for that. We got more music notes that we're going to try to not collect. As long as we miss one, we're good.
Alright, if you got a second for me to just thank Anonymous for a $15 donation with no message attached.
Of course.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for the donation. Coming up on the end here, you can see the finish line off in the distance. We're going to grab these clocks just so that the computers don't fight me about it. Unfortunately, bonking a little bit there on the right. And we can tend to get stuck on the wall when that happens. That's what happened there for a second. But time is coming up. And it's time. That's Super Mario Party River Survival. I think that run, do we know what time that run was? I think it went pretty well.
12:38.
Okay, so not quite a PB, but pretty close.
GG indeed.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, RNG-A-Thon. I had a lot of fun. I'll see you guys next time.
Yep, thanks for the awesome run, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
So we're going over to a transition, and then we will be back with Moonstone, A Hard Day's Night by Happy Camper. Stay tuned, folks.